tuned to the Uncle Scugga Radio Network. You're tuned to the Uncle Scugga Radio Network.
Good morning, buddy Bob. How you doing?
Good morning, brother Jimbo. I'm doing fine. How
I
are
think
you
we're
doing?
live. I'm doing good.
A little waterlogged.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, the rain's coming down out there.
Can't hear you.
It's coming down.
Can't hear you.
Nope.
I'm
Can't
not sure
hear
why
you.
you can't hear us.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
The
Can't hear you.
producers got some issues. Can you hear okay now?
Yes.
My little Libra. So yeah, we're waterlogged. It's raining,
Yes,
but it's a good thing because we've been in a drought here for
all summer. All summer.
several months. And I know because being a firefighter, I'm also a pyromaniac and I want to have fire and they won't let us,
Right.
Well,
and I had to water my garden all summer long.
Yeah.
It's nice when you get a few days off when it rains and you don't have to water, but it is what it is.
How was your garden?
Pretty good this year. I had issues with early on with like mice coming in and eating all my green bean plants, and then I got baby rabbits on my property too.
Damn mice.
And so I tried to plant green beans like 3 times and I just had to give up. So I didn't have green beans this year. But other than that, I think I canned enough sauce to last for the year.
That's great.
Hopefully. And I've done that before. A couple of years ago, we had made enough sauce that lasted all year long. And then I got a dehydrator this year.
Oh,
So I
excellent.
dehydrated like jars of oregano, basil. I have a bay laurel plant.
Ooh,
So it grows my own bay leaves.
yeah.
So I have those for cooking.
Is that the one that you have inside?
Well, it's outside during the summer and then I have to bring it in the winter.
That thing must be like a tree now.
It's
I remember it was pretty big.
yeah. I had to put it in a bigger pot.
So you got the bay leaf tree and you have all that sauce. So I'm expecting an invitation for spaghetti.
Oh yeah. That'll be good. That'll be an open invite.
Right?
I love to like just make a nice meat sauce
Mm.
and not like put too much stuff in it. I
Yeah.
like to taste the tomatoes and all that. So, I like a nice meat sauce.
So you do the herbs and tomatoes, you grew peppers.
Yeah. So I grew some really hot peppers this year, which I don't eat. I can't eat. I give them to Zachary, my son, and a friend of yours. But I grew these chocolate bootla peppers, and they're like a Carolina Reaper, but apparently a little bit hotter and a little bit tastier. But I'll never know because I'm not eating one.
I don't, I like buffalo sauce and not the super
Some
burn
people
your
like it.
fanny out. Well, my son Nick, he really likes that.
I wish I did, but
Cam,
I can't.
your son Cam does too. He likes it
I
really
wish I
hot.
liked it hot like that because I think that's cool, but I can't tolerate it.
You know,
I get hiccups and then I'm just done.
I was never really a fan of food that it's hard to enjoy. It's so hot that you can't eat
Right.
it.
If something coats your palate and then that's all you taste.
Right.
You don't want that. But I like it like You know, like if you put a little bit of red pepper flake in your tomato sauce, you taste your tomato sauce, then at the end you get a little.
Yeah, you get a little
tickle.
hint. Like we'll go to, Colleen and I went to Buffalo Wild Wings last week for lunch. And I like a lot of their wing sauces. They have the Asian Zing one is really good. And that's peppery, but it's
Yeah.
sweet and hot.
They got a good garlic.
Now I ordered, I'm like, oh, the original Buffalo's gonna be fine. It was way too hot for my liking. I ate them, but it was way too hot. Now we have there's a local supermarket here that they make their own buffalo sauce, or they put their own label on it, and that's pretty good. I like the vinegary and the peppery, but not, I don't like it, like I said, so hot that it's gonna burn your.
I like the
burn your mouth
garlicky
off.
chicken wings. The garlic ones.
Those are good.
I like a lot of
garlic parmesan, I think.
Yeah. I've always wanted to try this recipe that's called 40 cloves of garlic and a chicken. And I think the name of the recipe is the recipe.
So it's literally
It's
40
literally
cloves of
40
garlic.
cloves of garlic and a chicken. But it's supposed to be really
You
good.
stuff the chicken with it?
I think so.
Damn, that's a lot of garlic.
I know. But I'm like, aren't you curious?
Yeah, well, we've baked a whole thing of garlic in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
You put olive oil on
I
it
do it
and
in a coffee
everything and
cup.
bake it. And then you dip your crackers in it and stuff like that. That's pretty good.
Yes, very good.
You don't want to be breathing on anybody after the fact, but it's good. I'm going to go over to the chat really quick. We'll say hello to Linda Toman is here. Madman McCracken is with us as well. Hey, Madman. Good to see you, buddy. And Controversial Cruising, part of the Cup of Joe morning crew. We were hanging out this morning, Scott and I. So hello, guys. And there's eight in the house, so we got some lurkers as well. So good to see you guys.
Nice.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. This is episode 12. Can you believe that?
I when I saw the thing on the screen that said 12, I was like, 12? What happened with 11? I don't remember.
11 was last week, buddy.
Yeah, they just piling up.
We need to get some more some interviews lined up too.
Some more guests working on that.
Yeah.
Working on that. Some more content.
More content.
And
Well, I mean,
they're welcome.
The beauty of Practical Nonsense is it's useless information. You and I can rattle on.
Right.
If we had if we were drinking some beer,
It might be different.
it would go on and on and on and on.
It's information you didn't know you needed, even though it's useless.
Right. Right. Yeah. So the weather's been crazy though. Over the summer, it's been the drought, and we talked a little bit about that. It's bad when you walk on the dirt and there's dust clouds behind you as you're walking.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it's been.
So the rain is, definitely helping with that.
Although they're saying the rain's going to stop sometime after noon, so
Right.
in the next hour or so we'll probably see it stop. And they're saying the sun will be up by 2.
Well,
Which
this
is
is the
okay.
time of year when I start to wonder, all right, when's the winter going to get here? And what's it going to be like? And, we had a drought all summer long. So we're going to make up for it with 18 feet of snow or.
My father always used to say that Mother Nature has a way for making up for herself. So if we had a dry summer, it was going to be a wet, nasty winter, which usually in this part of the country means snow and ice. That's the wet.
And when you're not a kid and you don't sled in it anymore, and you don't make snow forts and snowmen anymore, all you have to do is drive in it and get to work. And it just seems like less fun every year.
Right. So for those of you that watch the Cup of Joe live show and you hear me bitch about the cold and the snow, Buddy Bob is just like me. We both him and I need to start doing our show from like Ocala or Sarasota. Or
People always say to me, yeah, but the snow's so pretty. It looks so beautiful. I go, yeah, till you have to drive in it.
Do you live here?
Yeah.
It does look like after the first snow or a couple good snowstorms, it does look like a Norman Rockwell painting. But Norman Rockwell paintings look nice in a frame.
And after you turn 50, do you know how much a shovel full of snow weighs?
Yeah.
Like a ton.
Yeah. And I don't have kids. anymore. They've moved out, so I got no kids to shovel the damn stuff. My snowplow broke, and it's always the first the snow of the year because I usually failed to do the maintenance on the snowblower until after the first snowstorm.
Yeah.
So I'm out there bitching and trying to start the thing and bitching and what the heck, like the father in
It's been
the
sitting under a half a tarp all summer.
right. Yeah. So I'm like the dad in the Christmas Story where he's down there working on the heat. Yeah. So
But I didn't say fudge.
right? I didn't say no. It wasn't fudge that I said. Linda can. She lives in Florida, so she knows how much I want to come to Florida. And but a lot of the folks, they're like, "Oh, it's too hot in the summer. It's just too hot." Well, let's see. If I put hot in my hand, and then I put a bunch of like minus 5, 10 degree weather and put minus 20 degree wind chill on top of
I was
that,
gonna say,
I'll take the hot
even
any
if it's
day.
even if it's 25 degrees, the wind makes it
Yeah.
so you wish you were in Texas or Florida.
Well, like you said, you're not a kid anymore. I mean, I remember when we were kids, we would stay out in that snow until we were blue.
Snow meant no school.
Right.
It was joyous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and where you lived, you could sled down the road.
Yeah.
There's no car. Did you have somebody at the bottom of the road looking out or no?
No, because back then they didn't plow the roads. So where I grew up, we grew up on the top of this hill, and there were 3 roads that you could use to get to my house. One was kind of at the top of the hill, and it was more of a flat road.
Yep.
But the other 2 went down a hill.
By the lake.
Yep, we lived just above this lake here in New Hampshire, and in those days, now we're talking the early 70s, they weren't out plowing. They would plow like the main roads, and if you lived in the back neighborhoods, yeah, okay, they weren't out there.
Yep.
So as a kid, we were lucky, where we would sled down the streets, and we had hours, sometimes days, depending on the amount of snow we got. Because the snowplow wouldn't show up for a couple days. Eventually they'd get to it or the snow would just melt.
Yeah.
But I mean, back then there was studded snow tires or chains. Yeah. It was literally old time New England when we grew up in the early 70s. It was fun.
Rear wheel drive cars that we had in the 70s, big heavy cars. Your father would put bags of cement in the trunk or whatever it was, cinder blocks in the back.
And it was rare for them to cancel school. We needed a good substantial snowstorm in order for them to cancel. Even if the buses weren't running, they would have school.
Yeah.
And you'd have to get to school somehow.
The great was that we had the blizzard of 78. We missed 2 days of school.
Right.
That was like the best thing that ever happened.
2 days.
But I remember though, that was funny. My father got up like at 5 a.m. when it's still dark, gets a shower, gets dressed, has his cup of coffee, goes to open the kitchen door, and the snow's halfway up the door because the wind blew it in. So he woke me up and my sisters, and I had to tunnel out the door to get to the driveway.
Yeah.
And once I did that, we had to shovel all the snow away from the door so he could get out. Now this is snowing like you can't even see.
And it was still snowing.
Me and my 2 sisters shoveled a path so my father could get his car out of the driveway. And wouldn't you know, he did. 10 minutes later, he come back.
Yep.
He's like, there's no way.
Just like the dad in Christmas Story.
Like, there's no way I can get to work. So I came back, and me and my sisters are like, yeah, but we were just out there for 2 hours.
Yeah, Dad, why did you make us do all that work if you were going to come right back? Yeah, my dad was the same way. But the cars weren't built like today. You didn't have all-wheel drive. You didn't have four-wheel drive. You didn't have
ABS.
Rear-wheel drive. Some of them were posi traction, which means that both wheels would spin at the same time.
Mean, those cars, I never worried about going heavy car. I would fear having to hit the brakes. Uh-oh, get ready.
Well, like you said, my dad, or even some of the cars we owned, I mean, by the time you and I were driving, they had front wheel drive cars, which
Right.
wasn't so bad.
And they had made chains
But-
illegal because they wrecked the roads.
Yeah. But they would, my father was a plumber, so he always had like a lot of lead because he would,
Right,
they would
that's
do
right.
lead joints and stuff on the waste pipes and that. Well, he always had lots of lead in buckets, and that would go in the trunk in the wintertime. And that was how he could get his traction, keep the car on the road from going in a
Yeah.
ditch or whatever.
And people drove sensibly. See, the negative part to the cars that are 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and they have all these smart systems, computer control, dampening and suspension,
Yeah.
individual wheel speed control,
Right.
which is all great. The problem is people go, oh, well, now I'm invincible. And you got, these people driving way faster than they should be in the snow, and they realize when you hit the brakes, everybody's equal.
Right. Well, and it's always the first storm of the year. I was talking about that on one of the morning shows where, and for some of the people that come into our chats and that, they don't live where there's snow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the first snowstorm of the year is the one that separates the men from the boys.
Everybody forgets, don't they?
Because people forget how to drive. And yep, you'll see there's mommy in her big SUV with the kids all loaded in, and she's off in a ditch because she thought she could do 40 miles an hour on a back road.
And we're talking, you were in the fire department for years, and the first day you get a skim of snow on the road,
Oh yeah,
an inch.
Yeah.
You're going to calls all
we
day.
we were busy all day. Always the first snowstorm.
Yep. And I find it, and I'm a little older, a little bit more sensible, but in the wintertime, I'm not speeding. I'm taking my time. I drive around the lake every morning. I kind of enjoy my ride, But in the wintertime, every morning, I've got some woman, some person tailgating me.
Yeah.
I had that Freudian slip because more times than not, it's a woman, but it could be anybody. But somebody, in a really nice SUV who feels invincible, and you're not going fast enough for them. So I try to pull over, but in the wintertime, it's not always the safest option to just go from 30 miles an hour to pulling over.
No, your stopping time takes a lot longer.
Right. So if somebody's tailgating you, and the roads are slick and snowy, it's very unsafe.
Yeah, and if you have to stop quick, you're gonna wear them. They're gonna
Right.
be in your trunk.
So my first option is to try to pull over if I can, if it's safe, and just let them go by. And then the very absolute last resort is a brake check. But that's also a dangerous thing. It might be too dangerous depending on if you're on black ice or something like that.
Right.
You don't want to be touching your brakes up like that.
Black ice, you guys familiar with black ice? Yeah, black ice is a condition where we'll get freezing rain or something like that.
Just
Not
a skim
usually
coat.
snow. All you need is a little bit of water on those cold blacktop, and it forms what they call black ice because you can't really see that it's ice until you're on it, and
At
then you
night-
find out really
At
quick.
night, you'll see your headlights. You might see your headlights reflecting off it in time to slow down, but it's bad.
Yeah,
And
it's,
there's, I don't care what your car has on it for features. You start skidding on the ice, you might as well be in an old Volkswagen.
right. And that's the
Physics
thing with
take over.
4-wheel drive is like you see these people zooming around and they're doing 40, 50 on these back roads like it's summertime, and they're like, well, I got 4-wheel drive. Well, you don't have 4-wheel brake.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not going to
Something's gonna
stop
lock
you
up.
quick.
Something's
You're
gonna
going
lock up.
fast,
Right.
and your vehicle when it weighs 10,000 pounds. Yeah.
I know you got anti-lock brakes. I get it. Back before we had ABS, what did they tell you? In the wintertime, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. Now, ABS can pump the brakes, 100 times a second. So you don't need to pump the brakes anymore. You can just
Right.
be slow and firm on it. But that doesn't mean that you can go faster.
No.
But
No.
that's what they relate that in their head. Well, since the brakes are so good and the 4-wheel drive are so good, now I can go faster.
But what do
No,
they say?
it means you'll be safer going the speed that you go.
Right. an object in motion tends to stay in motion
Right.
until it's affected by an outside force,
And
like a tree,
And the heavier something
another
is,
car.
the more dangerous it is.
Yep. Craziness. Crazy drivers in the wintertime here, but that's life in New England.
And it's
And for other parts of the country too.
still a few months away.
If you live above kind of draw an imaginary line through the country from east to west, and it's probably the middle of the country north, it's where the crazy drivers are. Now, the other thing too is I was in North Carolina one time. I went to visit one of my friends down there for it was for the Super Bowl, and they got like a dusting of snow. I
Oh
mean,
my
barely snow.
You don't even
And
know
you
what to do.
thought it was the end of the world. They canceled school. People were freaking out. All the stores closed because they don't have any salt. There's no plows. There's none of that down there. And you thought that it was the end of the world. We're New Englanders. Are like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
They canceled school for like 2 days for dusting of snow.
imagine that.
But
And yeah, they're cautious with the kids these days. But like you said, back in the 70s, you could get to work, you can get to school.
there was you needed an act of Congress in order
Right.
for them to cancel school.
Right.
It didn't matter for fear. It really didn't matter. You could come in, with a sling on and bloody face because you just slipped and fell down 47 stairs, and they'd be like, "Oh, glad you could make it."
I was just thinking, it would really stink if you're the janitor at the school. There's no snow days. All the snow boots and the snow pants and the mess and the floors
Right.
soaked and like.
Any of you custodians out there probably
I'd be going. Why don't they
Well-
just have a snow day?
right? Yeah, why don't you just have a snow day?
Yeah, I can't help it being a custodian. You go to in a public place and you go in the bathroom. Who's taking care of this joint?
Yeah. Poor bastard. Well, there you go. Hey, really quick, again, I know we don't like to really touch on politics and that, but how about the No Kings rally, huh?
You mean? See, I thought No
Did you
King's
see
Day was
that?
July 4th.
That's what I thought.
July 4th was No King's Day, but how about the No King's people?
Well, and that's really why I was giggling, because
I wonder what causes this.
I was listening to the Glenn Beck show this morning. I don't know if anybody listens to Glenn Beck. I find him interesting, and he's pretty good. He's a very smart guy. He knows a lot about history, especially U.S. history, but
And that's these days.
a lot
They're
of
not
people
teaching it anymore, so it's important to
they
listen
really-
to people
they
that know
really
it.
need to. But he was talking about he was talking about questions that I had about it too, because you heard about, it was the biggest rally since sliced bread, and there were 7 million people.
Yeah,
And my
it was
question was,
exaggerated.
well, where are they getting these numbers from? And how do they know it was 7 million people? Like, they showed an overhead, like a helicopter shot of Boston, and there was like 1 million people in Boston.
That was a fake shot.
It was a shot from some other thing
other
from
festival.
2017.
Right, and it was like some religious festival or something, or I don't remember what it was, but it was from 2017. I heard it was from 2012.
Well, it could have been. I don't know. They compared. It was from 2017. They showed a side-by-side shot of what they were claiming was the
What it was.
the no clowns. No kings rally in Boston, and then they put the one from 2017 next to it, and they were exactly the same. The other thing is all the grass and the trees were green. Now this is October in New England. There's no green grass and there's no green trees.
Yeah.
The leaves are either on the ground or they're yellow or red or something, because
They're trying to push their, and I think maybe, the low numbers are because some of the people realize if we had a king, there's no way they'd be able to have a protest.
Well, and that's the thing too. They'd be out either shooting these people, or they'd be rounding
They'd be
them up,
rounding them up.
throwing them in the Tower of London and
Right.
locking them up forever. I'm all for people to be able to rally and express their right to freedom of speech and do all that, as long as it's peacefully. And from what I understand, this was pretty peaceful. There was a few people that get out of control. You're going to get that.
There's no tolerance from the federal agents. They'll stand there and they'll be patient and they'll be understanding when you call them names and swear at them and stuff. But when you touch them or spit on them,
Right.
guess what's going to happen?
Right.
So fast. Have you seen the videos? Happen so fast.
Yeah.
I seen this girl, she threw something little, like the size of a key ring, and it hit one of the ICE guys. There was 300 guys on immediately. She was
Well, do
ripped
you
out of the
want somebody
crowd.
throwing stuff
No.
at you? No.
No,
I
what
don't
I'm
want
saying is
that.
these guys were
Or spitting
so
on me.
fast. There's zero tolerance. So if you're at those rallies and you're like, oh yeah, we're going to act up, and you see what happens, you're going, oh, maybe I'm not going to act up.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have spit on that guy.
I don't want to get my head slammed into the ground and handcuffed and,
Yeah.
Nothing more disgusting is someone spitting.
Right.
and since the beginning of time, I've always been told that's one of the top insults. If somebody spits in your face, that's like one of the ultimate insults.
So here they are. Here's these people that they really need to call it something else, because this no kings thing is just, it makes zero sense to me. We don't have a king. Like you said, 4th of July is celebrating No King's Day. I say we, the people that lived prior to us in this country, they had their own King's Rally. It was called the Revolutionary War.
Right.
But from what I understand too, is that it was a lot of like older people. Now there were some young people there, but for the most part, it was like people our age or older.
They were going into old folks' homes and bringing them up, giving them
bucking
signs,
in.
that aren't handmade. They're bulk ordered from Amazon, some of them.
Well,
And they're probably saying, hey, well, you want to make a couple of bucks?
so they were
We'll
saying,
take that for the day and give you a $50 bill.
Glenn Beck was talking about, well, who's bussing people in? Because this all costs money, signs and all of that.
Right.
And you can tell they're not like handmade, they didn't make it on a pizza box with some paint and crayons.
Some of them, they want it to
These
look
are-
that way.
These are printed signs they're out in bulk. And so he had a list of, there's the top 3 donors. Guess who was one of them? George Soros.
Yeah,
He gave like $70 million or something to help fund this.
from the No Kings. Right.
And then the other 2 were the Rockefeller family
Awesome.
and Bill
Awesome.
Gates. Talk
Gotta
about,
gotta
now
love
here
them.
they are. They don't like oligarchs, but they're out there with all of the stuff that the oligarchs gave them, and they're out there doing it. And it was, I don't know how many millions. He said 126 million. I'm sure there was more than that was put into this thing. But think about what you can do for really good with 126
Yeah.
million dollars.
And these, and what these people that are funding this don't understand is half of the people out there don't even understand why they're there, what they are fighting. They don't even understand any of it. They're just getting paid and holding their sign.
Yeah.
I've seen videos where people pretty much admit that. They
Right.
don't admit to getting paid, but they admit to they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And I love it when somebody will ask them a question and they can't answer it. And then when they can't answer it, then they
Right.
resort to, hate speech or violence or, tearing up the sign or pushing the camera or something like that.
Right.
Like a little kid in the schoolyard when you took something away from them. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
Well, and that's it. When you don't have the answers, they get angry and they resort to just
I loved watching
physical
Charlie Kirk
violence.
or Charlie Kirk or Michael Knowles when they would sit there across from somebody and say, "What is a woman?" And it's ridiculously hilarious that they just can't answer that question, and they won't. And
Right.
to me, I'm like, some years from now, you're gonna look at this and go, what? That's ridiculous. I'm hilarious. Like, and it's just and they get so mad too, is the other thing. They hated Charlie for that. They hated Michael Knowles for that, for saying, what is a woman? And they get mad and just storm off. There you go
Well,
again.
not only is it make them mad, it makes them, it makes the small percentage of the people, and again, not picking sides, because there's unwell mental people on every side of the fence, where they killed Charlie Kirk, you know,
Misguided as well.
or they, you know, a couple people tried to kill the president, which
Yeah.
is just
A
crazy.
third person tried.
And there were people interviewed by, which I love, you know, social media. I have a love-hate relationship with it, because, you know, it's a way too much communication and a lot
Everybody that has an
of
opinion.
false stuff out there. But the thing I like about it now is, so our mainstream media, where we always were supposed to get our truthful reporting and just the
Right.
facts, man, we're not getting that from mainstream anymore.
No.
So now we have an army of what we call, you know, social
Social justice warriors.
no, social media journalists.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of young people that are out there, and they truly want to just present the facts in that. And I saw some interviews with some people that were at this rally that are wishing for the death of J.D. Vance or President Trump, and others as well. I guess there was some crazies not at this rally, but I seen it reported this morning. Again, how true it is, because this came from mainstream media, but it was saying that somebody was, I don't know if it was a J6er or something. They were claiming
Yes, he's a former J6er.
that wanted to assassinate, or was trying to, or talking about assassinating Hakeem Jeffries.
Right.
This is what this country's come down to, where because you disagree with somebody, you're going to kill them. And one of the people, this woman at the rally, was, I think the question was, you know, like, what if you had one wish, what would you wish for to come out of this rally? And she said, well, if I woke up tomorrow morning, a certain person would be an obituary of a certain person. And that journalist, this social media journalist, said, well, you're talking about President Trump? And she's like, absolutely. I'm like, really? You're running around wishing that people are dead, or somebody will kill these people. This is what has come down in our country, and it's awful.
It seems, you know, there's bad people on all sides of everything. There's bad politicians in both parties, and there's self-serving people in both parties. But it feels like the hate is just so one-sided.
A lot of hateful people.
It seems like it's one-sided. And again, there's hate that comes from the right. There's, you know,
Well, like I said, there's really
people that give threats or whatever. You do have to, in this day and age, you can't go online and say, I have to make sure that this person isn't alive anymore. You can't say that and expect not to hear from somebody.
well, and there's
And he was very direct.
there's
He wasn't
crazy
beating around the
people out
bush.
there. Again, there's no line between, you know, there's no party line where the crazies are. There's, you know, they come from all walks of life. And if somebody's out there spitting this hateful rhetoric, there's somebody who's going to take it seriously, and they may act on it. I mean, look, again, we go back to Charlie Kirk, because he's, you know, in recent time here, somebody that was assassinated. But even going back to the Pennsylvania rally before President Trump was elected, you know, there's this kid up on the roof of a building at this rally, and thank God that, you know, God was with the president, and he turned his head. Again, putting the politics aside, that's a human being. He's a human being, you know. Just because you don't agree with somebody, I mean, look at John Wilkes Booth is another one. He killed President Lincoln because he didn't agree with him. Didn't like, his policies or whatever. It's just an awful
So
place
one thing
to
that
be
Charlie Kirk said
living in
often,
right now.
one thing that Charlie Kirk said often, and that should resonate with people, is that when discussion ends, when civil discourse and civil discussion ends, violence begins.
Right.
And people on both sides, in both parties, should think about that. Because that's what's going on. And here is your president who's trying to eliminate violence all around the world by stopping wars and creating peace where there is conflict. He's done it all over the world, but yet people act as if he's the reason that this country is divided.
Well, and they call him Hitler. I don't recall from any of my
Horrible
history
thing.
classes Hitler going into any country or city and trying to stop
That's
violence.
so horrible that somebody would even use that term about another human being. I think if it was up to me, the people that call other people Nazis and call people Hitler, they should be forced to take a history class.
Yeah, and to see the atrocities.
Watch a documentary about Hitler and the
Right,
Nazis.
and what he
and then-
actually did.
And then what are you going to call President Trump after that? You still going to call him Hitler?
Well, and it's funny because the group that call themselves anti-fascists are actually the
They're the
fascists.
fascist.
They're like the brown shirts during, the
It
Nazi
almost seems like it's not
regime.
real, like it's a joke or it's a movie, but unfortunately it's not. It's real, and it's I just think they're lost souls. I just think it's a generation of lost people. I feel like that whatever changes in the education system, changes in parenting.
Do you remember back in school? We learned about this when I was in school, and there was a movie that was made about it, but it actually happened where a teacher, he split his class in half. And I don't know if it was they took all the jocks and what he did was it was a social experiment that he did, and the kids didn't really realize it. I forget the name of the movie. Maybe somebody.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But basically, the end result is that part of the kids in the class became like these dictators and almost like Nazis, and they were exerting like this power that the teacher had given them on the other kids in the class, and it was exactly what had happened during Nazi Germany when they were brainwashing the masses.
Right.
And that's what is happening today. The powers to be, the George Soroses and the communists that are infiltrated this country. If you induce projection on people's, which is you call your enemies what you're really doing or what you're trying to do, you'll convince the people that side with you to do nasty things, by calling me a Nazi because I lean more conservative.
Right.
That people are eventually, when you repeat that lie over and over and over and over, and you project that on, people are going to believe it, and that's what's happening. You see it amongst all of us, even our friends. We have friends that it's hard to talk to them about politics. That's why we won't bring it up anymore, because it ruins friendships and families and
I just can't believe where it's gone. I had somebody that I'm very friendly with at work. I have a sweatshirt with an American flag on it, and I was told it's okay for me to wear that because I'm a veteran, but otherwise, I'm probably racist and a bigot.
Well, and
the American flag. I'm an American. I was born in this country. I remember celebrating the 200th anniversary in 1776, driving down to Boston and seeing the tall ships come in.
Yeah.
And the reenactment of the Revolution.
Flags
and
everywhere.
all of that. It was the summer of awesomeness.
Yeah.
Right? And
parades and
now the American flag everywhere.
It's
the day after 9/11, the American flag everywhere.
I think it's slowly beginning to come back.
Now people think, oh, your American flag, huh? Freedom, your shirt says freedom, you must be an a-hole.
Well, I can't wait for July 25 or 26 rather, because it's America's 250th birthday. We were there for the 200th. Imagine
Yeah.
that 50 years ago, which is hard to believe, but
No, we went and saw the tall ships.
we
I
saw
remember
all of that.
We loaded into the station wagon. We
Yeah.
drove up to Boston. or
But it
whatever
just wasn't the tall ships.
Oh, no.
It was on
parade.
TV for a whole year. They would do, it was like history class. They would have these. So like on my channel, I had produced a bunch of videos called the Revolutionary Minute. It was like that. It was like a revolutionary 30 seconds for them. They'd be like, oh, and on this date in 1775, the citizens of Boston did this. They threw the tea into the bay or whatever it was.
It was an awesome day.
It was a good time to be alive, and everybody showed their American pride. And
Yeah.
for those of you guys that are listening or watching right now, me. If you've watched my morning show, you know how much of an American patriot I am. And if you could see my house right now, I have American flags on the front and the back of my house, and on my car, and on my motorcycle. So get ready, because this year, starting January 1st, 250 years are going to be a great thing.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but I find that I need to take means to protect myself more and more now.
Well, unfortunately, from what I see, the lengths that people are willing to go to get their point across. Yeah, it's
But if somebody wants to say something to me for wearing an American flag, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I have a problem.
Here's the thing.
People that don't, and I think I said, and this isn't this nice lady that said this to me, but she's a very left-leaning lady, but she's
Ignorant is what she is.
Right.
Ignorant human being.
so, and I don't need any conflict or anything like that with another person.
If you
So I
can-
just said, geez, I'm awfully glad that I have permission to, exhibit the American flag.
if you take exception with a flag of our country,
you
then
don't belong here.
you need to go somewhere else
Yeah.
where you'll feel more comfortable. Again, you and I have talked about this before. I'm not responsible for anybody else's feelings. You are. You're responsible for your own feelings. If you feel uncomfortable because we fly the symbol of our country, then maybe you should go to a country where they fly a flag that you're more comfortable with.
But
The
guess
other
what?
the other thing is look at what the flag represents. I used to say in my show that it's more, there's more involved with a flag than just the cloth that it's been printed or sewn with. People have given their lives, our veterans, there's past people, and not just veterans, but American patriots and proud Americans that have given their life, the ultimate sacrifice, to protect that flag. We've seen the pictures of soldiers, someone would fall down with that flag and a guy comes right up and picks it up.
Do you remember the Freedom Train? I think it also
I
came
do.
through in 1976. I
I
took a school field trip
actually
to the
have,
Freedom Train, and there was items from the Smithsonian that was on this
Yeah.
train. And one of the battle flag from the Revolutionary War was in a frame, all burnt on one end and ripped and torn and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what battle or what it was from. I just remember seeing it and really having a great sense of, wow.
if you go to Washington, that's all there,
Yeah.
the Smithsonian.
But they had to, I think it was in 1976,
Yeah.
and this train went all around the country, and it was painted red, white, and blue, and it was a museum on train cars. It was called the Freedom Train, and we went on a class field trip to it, and it was
In my
It was really cool.
basement, I have an HO scale train that is the Spirit of 76 train. It was the Freedom Train,
oh cool.
all red, white, and blue with the symbol on the side.
I
And
remember seeing like they had one of Wilt Chamberlain's sneakers in there, and it was like size 23.
Right.
They had neat stuff in there, but they had all kinds of stuff about the bicentennial and the Revolutionary War and whatnot.
again, if you don't like what's happening in this country, Stop trying to change our way of life and the way it's been for 250 years.
Right.
Maybe you should get on a boat or a plane and go become a citizen of a country that you feel more comfortable in. Really.
But
Because this is how we do our things here.
and the other option is get on board.
Well, that's
Because I'm seeing people online that decided to move, that they weren't going to be able to live under President Trump, and now they're making videos going, I wish I never moved.
Yeah.
I can't speak the language here. I can't get any opportunities here. I can't make any friends. Like blah, 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 whatever it is. And I should have never left, but now I don't have enough money to get back. And things like this.
If this is such a bad place to be,
Yeah.
why are there people trying to come here?
Right.
Legally and illegally.
Right.
Why do they want to come here if this is such a bad place to be? Don't you think it would be the other way around? People would be crashing the borders to get the hell out of this country?
Right.
That's
the way it was.
It's just a ridiculous notion. And it comes down to certain powers in the world that want to change this country. They just want to change it.
In every country.
Because
some of them are changing.
Well, and
unfortunately.
we're really the last holdout in the world.
There's some countries in Europe and stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of them border on socialism.
Did you ever see
know?
the Polish Prime Minister's comment
Yeah.
about LGBTQ and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that?
Oh,
I'm
and
like, they ain't messing around in Poland. And immigrants,
immigrants, they
Yeah.
don't take it.
yeah, don't come to Poland
Yeah.
illegally. Don't
Yeah.
even think about it. So
Well, that's the interesting part of that community. They're defending countries that would kill them for
Yeah.
what they are.
Right.
And they don't even realize it. That
We need to get Mrs. Producer a microphone. We'll set you up with one next time.
But-
how,
do
how
you
about
agree?
Queers for Palestine?
that's so funny, right?
Right?
They'll throw you off a roof.
They're
Go tell-
defending
go tell
people
the
that would cut
Palestinians-
their heads off.
Go tell the Palestinians that you fought for them.
Right?
Go let them know.
So you-
They won't even thank you. They'll give you a look and bring you over, and they'll take a
And
sword
look
and cut your
It
head off.
won't even be fun because they still draw and quarter people over there. Like
Right.
they're not nice about it.
No.
I-
But that just goes.
it just blows my mind that these people fall for this false rhetoric and
And the other thing, the claim about rights. My rights are being taken away. Okay, which ones?
exactly. And
Oh, I don't have to tell you
and
that.
what do they
I'm not.
say? Well, what about abortion? Your abortion rights haven't been taken away. Well, what about women's rights? Okay, well, what rights have been taken away?
Yeah, what
from
about
women?
trans rights? What are trans rights?
Well,
What are trans rights? What is that?
you have human rights for
But what's
American.
different? Because you're trans, you get something extra? I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't get that either.
We
Again,
want trans rights. Okay, what are they?
Yeah. Where's your list of rights that you want?
I want equal opportunity. Okay, you have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to hire people based on merit. You have equal opportunity.
If you're a man or a woman in this country, regardless of what you call yourself, or what do you identify, you have the right to vote as long as you're a legal citizen. You
Right.
have the right to drive. You can get a license. You,
Nobody's taking that away
you can
from
get
them.
an education.
Nobody's saying
You know?
that trans people can't go out in public and can't eat in restaurants. And so I just don't, if somebody wants to let me know what those rights are, I might be in trouble for saying this.
No, look,
We're gonna get canceled.
here's the thing that I like about our show, Practical Nonsense, is I like to think that we can talk about just about anything.
I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
No, I've always lived under the notion that live and let live, regardless of what people, they want to identify as a tree. That's fine.
That's fine.
Be a tree.
I don't need to be part of it.
But don't scream at me about why you should be a tree and I need to buy into the fact that you're a tree.
Well, people
It's
say,
okay,
"Oh,
be a tree,
we
but
need to
just
support these folks." Why?
shut your knothole.
Why? They're grown-ups. Well, we need to support the LGBT community. Why? They can't support themselves?
Right.
I don't understand.
Now, look, there's some things that I guess in some states that they want, like, I'm not even I guess the alphabet community, because there's so many letters now that they've added to it, but it comes down to gay people, really. And look, I have gay friends, I have gay family members, and I love them all. I love them. There are some places where they can't get married, and I get that. They want to get married so that they can have some of the benefits like that us heteros have. I get insurance through my work. Colleen gets it because we're married. I get that.
I have talked to a couple of gay people, ladies that I know, who have talked about that. Gay people fought for years to be able to get married, so that not just so they could say that they're husband and husband or wife and wife, so they could have benefits and retirement
Exactly.
and those things. So it took decades of work by those people to get that done. And then the ladies that I spoke to said they feel like they got they worked hard and they got the right to get married and that's what they wanted. And then all of a sudden, when they're about to close the door, the rest of the LGBTQ people put their foot in the door and said, no, now we're going to do this.
Right.
Now we're going to take, it took you 20, 30 years to make this one small step. Now we want to make 5 giant steps overnight.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Now, I'm probably not as educated as other folks are on the subject, and I don't know what it's like to be a trans confused person. I know that, when you're growing up, puberty is a difficult period in everybody's life, and you have to get through it. And then once you get through it, and maybe that plays into it. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I don't have anybody in my family that has blue hair or septum rings, so I don't know the plight that these people really face. So, I don't want to be unfair, but I just feel that all of a sudden they say, all right, now that gay people have the right to marriage, now we want this and we want this and this, and hire me even though I'm not qualified, and and call me certain things. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute,
I think
we have really jumped the shark when
Right.
people can tell me what words to use.
Look, if I think that everybody should have the same rights, as
Right.
hetero people, like, again, can get married, and then again through marriage there's certain benefits that you're able to enjoy and qualify for. I think everybody should be able to do that.
Right.
Take the whole religious thing out, because as a Christian, that's a whole nother animal. But I can't change a lot of that. And I think, again, live and let live. I think, look, if you're happy and you're happy with your partner and you guys want to get married, I think
Go
you
for
should
it.
be allowed to do that. But then, like you said, when you start dumping all these ridiculous things on top of it, and where does it end? As long as you get the same rights that we all have, I think then you're good. Let's
Right.
shut the door on the
So-
matter and move on.
Exactly. So I think in reality, they don't want rights. They want to be treated a certain way.
Well, and I think it's
And that's different
an
than rights.
attention thing too.
And that's different.
But how dare
Your rights are
they?
different than how you want to be treated. You
Right.
know?
But
Hey, I prefer you not call me Robert if that's okay. You call me Bob, Buddy Bob, Bobby. I just don't like Robert. Well, nobody's gonna have a problem with that.
Okay.
But when the lady that told me that you address me by Z, Zer, Zim, Zoom,
Right. We
Zoom.
had this conversation last week.
No, I don't. I don't do that. No, and
Yeah.
I'm working, so good luck.
See you
to
later.
There's only so many real words in the English language, first of all, in our dictionary. And there's his and her and him. Those are in the dictionary.
I could be, I heard a guy yelling
Man,
at Walmart one
woman.
day. One person can't be they, and I'm like, who's that talking?
Well, are they wrong?
But he just yelled out.
That's a plural
One
thing,
person
right?
can't be
They,
they.
it's more than one.
Like, this is the new math, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, even when my kids went to school, the new math was a little different than that is now.
I identify as sick and tired.
So it's like, sometimes it
Right.
feels, yeah. Sometimes it feels like a bizarro world, like an alternate universe, and some of the people from the alternate universe leaked over.
Yeah, exactly.
The puppies, the
I
people
think-
dressed as puppies.
I think it's CERN. You familiar with CERN?
CERN.
CERN.
No.
CERN. It's the collider over in Switzerland or wherever it is.
Oh, the super collider.
You know the collider? So some people claim that
we
they've
built a time machine.
well, not a
People
time
leaked out.
machine, but it's like an alternate universe or a different dimension or something. It's changed by, they've tapped into this way that they've changed like our reality, like an alternate reality, and without us even knowing it. And some people will say like the Mandela effect is evidence that they've done that, where some of us remember the Bernstein Bears or the Berenstein Bear. You know, people remember it differently. Like Mr. Peanut having a monocle and not having a monocle, or the Monopoly guy with a monocle and not.
I always ended up with a shoe because my sisters were older than me.
Yeah, we always fought for the car. Everybody wanted the car or the iron.
Why was the shoe even there?
Why is there an eye in there? I suppose you got to have some
Rich
objects.
people got to have fancy
right?
clothes.
But I think it's CERN. Maybe CERN really did change things alternately.
I don't know.
And, you know, instead of...
We're all supposed to be living here at the same time, and you're supposed to be able to afford a certain amount of respect to every person that you don't know.
Well, and that's, you know...
Until they prove to you they
as
don't
kids,
deserve it.
right? What did your father and mother tell you, when, especially addressing like your friends'
Everybody,
parents?
sir and madam, or
Or
Mrs.
Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I remember one of my friends, Mr. Tebow. Well, just call me Don. And my father looked at me like, you're not calling him Don. He's Mr. Tebow. You know, give you that look like, no, it's Mr. Tebow.
yeah.
Or I'll get the backhand. You know, and that's respect.
And today, oh my goodness. You see the way teenagers talk to police officers these days? I can't even understand that.
But what I like,
And if that was my kid, I would be I can't even tell you how embarrassed I'd be.
right?
You know?
I love some of the videos that I see though, to the contrary of that, where the adults teach the kids, and it's a lot of black adults, you know, how our parents would have taught us. You'd get a backhand, or I'd get my father would put a grip on your throat and he would drag you around like you were a rag doll if you did something. You're never gonna do that again. Or how many times have I told you?
And guess what? You wouldn't do that again.
Never again. And I get a chuckle from some of these videos where, you know, especially the mama, right? From some of these mamas, where the cops like, oh, you know, well, what did he do? Well, he did this, you know, we caught him driving your car and he's only 14 or whatever. And the mother just, oh no, you won't, you know, and the cop, they're a juvenile, so the cops are putting them back in their custody, and the mother's like, and the kid's like, oh, she's abusing me, see? And the cop's like, I didn't see anything. I'd
say that in the 70s, we had the dog collar parenting. You know the e-collars? First button is a bell.
Yeah.
Second button is a vibration. And the third button is a shock. Now, my dogs, when I shock them, guess what happens after that? They behave after they hear the bell.
Sure they do.
You give them the bell, then the vibrate, then the shock, then they hear the bell, they go, all right, I know what's coming next, so I'm going to behave. So when we were kids, I remember in the 90s, they said, don't intimidate your kids. And I was thinking, that's not how I was brought up.
Yeah, no.
And my father would intimidate me. And then one day, I think I've told you this before, he held me up against the wall with just his forearm. I swear my feet were off the floor.
Oh, they were off the floor.
And that's the shock. That's the shock button. So the next time I did something, I heard his voice yelling at me. I went, okay, better stop before you get the shock.
Right. How about riding around in the back seat of the car? Now, we didn't have seatbelts, but
Your father driving like this?
well, my father, not even that. My father would use the brake method. He'd be like, knock it off.
Because you didn't have seatbelts.
And no seatbelts. So he'd be like, knock it off. And you'd be like, you know, he's touching me. Me and my brother would be in the back. And he's like, so there's the bell, knock it off. And then he would just jam the brakes on. And of course, you'd fly head first into the back of the front seat. And that hurt. That was the shock.
Yeah.
My mother would just take her hand and smack whoever was behind her.
Yeah.
You might not have done nothing.
My father always drove like this with his. My father always drove with his right arm right over the back of the seat, and it could just fling back every time he needed it to.
Right.
But again, it was most of the time, almost all the time, it was the threat of it. It was
Yeah.
the threat of it. It wasn't. I wasn't getting beaten. Far from it. My father didn't beat anybody, but I got a couple of whacks and I got a couple of reminders that I'm bigger than you and I'm in charge.
Right.
Just take your belt off and put it on the
I'm
table.
boss. Well, and,
Oh.
and you mentioned kids today. So kids today, they're not afraid of consequences because, you know, there's not all kids. There's good kids, and then there's some kids that just like to, you know, see what they can get away with. In our day, I was afraid of getting in trouble with the cops.
Right.
But the biggest reason was because if I got in trouble with the cops,
They're gonna tell
you were in double trouble with dad. And that was, you know, the cops may lock you up and embarrass you. As
Do we have to
kid
tell
or
my
whatever.
parents?
And,
Do you have to call
now,
my parents?
I never got in trouble with the cops as a kid.
No, and neither
And
did
that's
I.
the reason why, because I was afraid. That was the shock, was the cops. Because then you'd go home to dad and that was the bell with the cops. Then you'd get the shock. Or in my family, it was I'd get the belt. My father had this thin leather belt. And if the belt came off, you were in trouble. Or was the switch. You know what a switch is, right?
Yep.
So I'm not talking about the thing on the wall that we use to turn the lights on and off with.
Skinny
A
branch.
switch was a skinny branch. It had to be green, like a little tree growing. And what my father would do was make us go pick out our own.
Awesome.
Go pick
Awesome.
out your own. And he would pull my pants down. Now I'm talking, you know, first grade.
Yep.
Whatever. Pull my pants down. No matter who was there. It didn't matter who was there.
Right.
Pants came down, and I got a couple slaps with that switch. And look, some of you people out there, oh my God, Jim's father, he
No.
abused you. No. It wasn't like I was out on the back 40 and I wasn't digging the garden up and getting whipped to death. You'd get a couple slaps with that thing on your
Right.
fanny, and it left a red line.
And like
But I
said,
wouldn't do it again.
the intimidation factor was usually all it took. But you talk about your father taking off his belt. Would he snap it?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like the sound of the one being
That's
put
quite
into
a
the
sound.
chamber on a gun.
That's quite a sound.
Yeah, snap.
Uh-oh.
You knew what was coming.
You better stop.
Or how about your mother?
right now?
Wait till your father gets home.
So yeah, the day I don't remember. I'd have to ask her. I talked back to my mother, and my father was right behind me.
Right? Yeah.
He was
Well,
standing right there, and I either just said no, or I told her to shut up. I think I told her to shut up. The next thing I know, my head was pressed right against the wall, like that. What did you say?
yeah.
Because a father, there's a special anger when the kids talk back to your wife, their mother. It's like a sacred thing, right? Mom's a sacred thing.
Oh yeah.
And I swear, if you're a dad and you hear your kid talk back to his mother, it's a special place turns on in your brain. And it's, oh, that's mad.
Right.
That's mad.
So,
We went down a bad path.
well, it's okay. I like to talk about
This is practical nonsense.
Right.
All nonsense is practical
Yeah.
for some use.
And for the most part, it's allowed. We don't talk about hate speech and
But-
that kind of stuff.
Again, we're just making a point that there is a difference in today's culture. The way we were raised is vastly different. And I'm not saying that, some of these kids missed out on a couple of smacks when they were growing up, but maybe that's the case, or different parenting styles, I think all have their pros and cons. But
Try to be your kids' friends when they're under,
that was the 90s.
18.
That was the
That ain't-
90s thing.
that
Be
ain't
your
working.
kid friends.
Yeah.
be your friends with your kid. And no, you're not a friend. You're a parent. It's a big difference.
It's a lack of having consequences that are enforced.
So, yeah,
Right.
I think we'll leave it at that. We got to move on.
We have beaten a nearly dead horse.
So, I wanted to talk about, well, you had something you wanted to talk about all our heroes that we had.
Yeah, well, last week we lost Ace Frehley, guitar player from Kiss, and he was 74, and he had some health issues as well as a fall. But then I started to thinking, I'm 60, almost 61.
Wait till you get to be 61. I'm going to tell you, you think 60 was bad.
And and over the last few years, we've started losing our heroes. And so I said, well, let me take a quick look.
So, did you make the list?
Take a quick look to see, 2025, how many people who's died and who do I recognize the names. So I just thought it'd be, it's like this whole page.
It is awful. I mean, especially these people that we look up
names.
to. You think they're invincible and they're going to live forever, but they're humans like we are.
We don't have to have a talking point on all of these people because some of them are very famous and some of them are slightly famous. And I have these written all over.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to do them all either, but.
So Michael Madsen passed away this year.
Yeah.
He was an actor. He
yeah.
was in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And a few other things. Lyndon Byers passed away this year.
Yeah, Lyndon Byers,
He
the
was
hockey played with the
Hockey player for the
Bruins.
Bruins and also worked on the radio.
Yeah, local radio personality after the fact. Yeah.
Mick Ralphs died this year. He was the lead guitarist and founding member of Bad Company.
Yeah.
Dave Parker is two-time National League MVP, Baseball Hall of Famer from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Mike Greenwell.
Greenie.
Yeah.
He's not on here. Thank you.
Yeah, Mike Greenwell just passed too. Red
One of my
Sox
favorites.
on the Red Sox when they won their couple World Series back in.
No, he never won a World Series.
No, he never did?
He retired in the end of the 90s.
Oh,
Yes.
still one of my favorites.
Yes, he was a fan favorite, Greenie.
Yeah.
The Gator.
The
'cause he was in
Gator.
Florida. Wayne Osmond passed away this year. He was the oldest of the Osmond brothers.
Yeah. One bad apples for the whole bunch, girl.
Peter
So-
Yarrow
Peter Yarrow.
of Peter, Paul, and
Yeah,
Mary
yeah.
fame. Here's was just a person one I wrote down. Joan Plowright. She's a British actress, very famous.
Not familiar.
One of my favorite movies in the world is a movie called I Love You to Death with Kevin Kline.
Oh yeah.
And he owns a pizza place and he's cheating on his wife, Rosalie, and her and her mother plan to kill him by putting sleep.
Oh, she was the mother.
And Joan Plowright was
Yeah.
the mother.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was brilliant in that.
Yeah. What was who was the wife?
Tracy Ullman.
Tracy Ullman. Yeah. Another great
And-
one.
And the criminals, they had to shoot him because they poisoned him, and that didn't work. So they had
You
Keanu
know
Reeves.
You know the guy.
Keanu Reeves and William Hurt with the long hair.
Yeah.
And they get the bat, and they're about to beat him, and they're like, hey, look, it's a Reggie Jackson model. And they start chanting Reggie. It's a good movie. I love you to death.
You know the guy.
The guy. And so Robert Redford died this year.
Yeah. A lot of women, they sighed a big sigh when he
He was, even in his old age, he was still a handsome guy.
Some guy.
Bobby Sherman.
Bobby
Yeah.
Sherman. He had his own show. Remember
He
the
did.
Bobby
I
Sherman
can't
show?
remember what his hits were. He had a couple of hits, and I don't remember.
He was one of those late 60s, early 70s singer guys.
Sonny Curtis died this year. He was the last remaining member of Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Polly Holiday passed away this year. She played the waitress Flo on the show Alice.
Yeah, everyone loves
Kiss My
Flo.
Grits.
Yeah, Kiss My Grits. Yeah.
Jane Goodall died a few weeks ago.
Jane Goodall, she worked with chimpanzees and gorillas, right? Is that the
She like
same one?
lived
Yeah.
with chimpanzees. Like she'd go home at night and come back in the morning. But
Yeah.
she spent like a whole year. And the work that she did back in the 60s and early 70s is still used today.
Yeah, I remember in the Planet of the Apes, didn't they have a statue? No, just kidding. Wasn't there a statue for her?
I don't know. Sly Stone. Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah, the Funk Master Stone.
Oh, yeah. They were great at Woodstock. They were one of the really good performances at Woodstock. Diane Keaton died just
Yeah, she
recently.
just recently passed.
She won the Academy Award for Annie Hall.
Annie Hall. She was in The Godfather and
Father of the Bride.
yep. Father of the Bride. 1 and 2.
Loretta Swit, who played Hot Lips Houlihan on the TV.
On the TV show, not in the not in the movie.
And who was that? That was she died also
Yeah,
a couple of
she
years
passed.
ago.
I'll think of it.
Ann Burrell, celebrity chef from Food Network.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
She died recently.
She was young. She was
Unfortunately,
like 50,
54.
54. Yeah, young.
She killed herself.
Unfortunately, suicide. Yes.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Rick Derringer, guitar player
Yeah.
for
Hang on, Sleepy
Frankenstein
baby.
guy. What's his name? Edgar Winter Group.
Yeah.
And then he broke up on his own and did rock and roll hoochie coo. And I think he.
Well, and even before that, in the
Made a
late
career.
'60s, he wrote "Hang On, Sloopy"
That's right.
and all that. Rick Derringer. Yeah.
I don't know if your mom's watching today, but Connie Francis died.
Connie Francis.
Your
Yeah.
mom would know her.
I grew up listening to Connie Francis in my house. Yeah.
I heard plenty of it too.
Yeah.
We lost Bill Robertson this year, Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
He had Alzheimer's. Brian Wilson died from cancer earlier this
what a
year.
terrible cancer.
The thing to say
See
about
my shirt, right?
Brian Wilson was, what would music be if the Beach Boys never existed? I don't even know. They had, even if you're not the biggest Beach Boys fan, they had huge influence over just about everybody. So he will be missed. George Wendt,
Normie.
Norm from Cheers. Joe Don Baker.
Joe Don Baker, remember him?
Yeah, he played Walking Tall in the first 2 original Walking Tall movies.
Yeah.
He was Buford Pusser. Ruth Buzzy,
Yeah,
From
Laugh-In and other shows.
Wink Martindale,
Oh, remember him? He was a game show guy.
host. I can't remember what game show, but he was
I don't remember. Wasn't he with the Wally Grimshaw Orchestra?
Les Binks, who was the original drummer for Judas Priest, the first 3 albums.
Yeah, that's
He passed away this
Yeah.
year. Ricky Hatton, who was a very popular British fighter. He was a very angry ginger.
very angry
he was a
ginger.
very angry ginger. He was like a welterweight or a middleweight. He was a tough kid.
Yeah.
Rick Davies, founder and lead singer and piano player for Supertramp,
Yeah.
passed away this year. As well did Richard Chamberlain.
Richard
I
Chamberlain.
remember
Yeah.
him from TV miniseries in the
Well,
70s.
he was in the,
Shogun.
wasn't it the Thornbirds? And
Yeah. Was he in Roots?
He may have
Might
been.
even been in
He was
Roots.
always on a lot of those.
All them
and,
TV.
and he was kind of a heartthrobby kind of guy,
Yeah.
good looking.
Yeah, he
dude.
was. Mark Pullman from the Turtles and Frank Zappa and Flo and Eddie passed away, as well did Graham Greene,
Yeah, Graham
actor.
Greene.
Now, was he a Native American?
He was, I think so. He was in Dances with Wolves and many other movies, but good. I remember Tatanka.
We lost Kitty Dukakis this year, and
Yeah.
not because she drank rum and
No,
alcohol,
she was actually sober.
but she had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Do you know who Terrence Stamp was?
Maybe if you tell me.
Terrence Stamp played General Zod in the first 2
Ah,
Superman movies
yes.
with Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
And he passed away this year. Bobby Whitlock, original keyboard player with Derek and the Dominoes. He was also an artist, and he passed away this year. George Foreman, heavy hitter, and
Wasn't he a
and a griller,
famous for grilling?
famous for grilling
Yeah.
and getting knocked out.
Yeah, and getting knocked out.
James Lovell, the commander of
Yeah,
Apollo
he was,
13,
an
passed this year.
astronaut. Yeah.
Lonnie Anderson passed away this year.
Lonnie.
She was a
WKRP in Cincinnati.
She was a poster, and then she was married to Burt Reynolds, right?
Yeah, for a while till they got divorced.
Jesse Colin Young, who wrote one of my favorite songs, who was a member of the Youngbloods. Come on, people now, shine on your brother,
Yeah.
everybody. get
Come on,
together.
people now.
Gonna love one another right now. Paul Mario Day, the first Iron Maiden singer, passed away this year. And last year, Paul Di'Anno, the second Iron Maiden singer, passed away. So we're running thin on Iron Maiden vocalists.
Well, Bruce is still with us, so.
Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Famer for the Chicago Cubs, shortstop, died this year, as did Gene Hackman, which is a sad story.
Yeah, him and his wife both.
His wife both, but she passed away before he did. She was poisoned by something
Yeah,
that she ate, and they say that he might have been in the house with her dead for a couple of weeks. But he
yeah,
had severe.
yeah. He was
Severely Alzheimer's.
he was altered mentally.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Robert.
Terry.
Yeah, Terry Bollea. Robert John, who wrote and sang the song "Sad Eyes," as well as a few others, passed away. Chuck Mangione.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Marianne Faithfull died this year.
Yeah.
She was a singer and a performer. She was also married to Mick Jagger for a
She
while.
was with Mick Jagger.
And Clem Burke, who was the drummer for Blondie. And then we have Ozzy Osbourne passed away this year, as well did Ace Frehley.
The Ozman and then Ace Frehley.
And that's very sad. They were both very good people. They both had the issues as far as drugs and alcohol and whatnot. But there you go. There's.
Well, and Ace Frehley, he didn't die from any of that. He fell and hit his head.
But his body
Yeah.
was beaten up so much badly by his liver was bad and kidneys and everything else.
He
He didn't have anything to fight back with.
He was touring.
Right.
Yeah.
He developed a brain.
He
brain
just
bleed.
played here locally in the town where Buddy Bob and I went to school, which is right next door here. He just did a show there at the Tupelo, and we have a couple friends that went and seen him, and I think he was coming back. They were going to go see him again, but
Yeah,
he
he's
passed
been
away.
doing all right.
It's too bad. Talking about the death of our heroes and kind of leads us into the next thing where I wanted to talk about not so much the death of Neil Peart, who was a few musicians out there, you know who Neil was, but
Right.
Neil Peart was the drummer for the band Rush, and in my opinion, the greatest rock drummer to ever sit behind a drum kit. And again, subjective, but that's my opinion.
It's shared by most professional drummers as well.
Yeah. And Rush just happened to be one of my favorite, or my all-time favorite band. I love a lot of bands being a musician. You do as well.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick
Something
one
about Rush.
band that was my favorite, it was always Rush. And you and I, before we went live, we were talking about stories on Rush and when we first heard them and that. I was a young man. I was maybe 12 when I first heard them, 13, no, 12, I guess, 11, 12. Anyway, so that he died a while ago.
Yeah.
But it was just announced that Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, the two remaining members of the band, have decided that they're going to go on tour. And a lot of people have mixed feelings about that. You know, how can you carry on without Neil? And I think they felt that way too. I think it's why. When did he pass? In 2015 or?
I think at the beginning of COVID. So even
So even
2019 maybe?
19 and 18, somewhere in there. Somebody can fact check that for us. But it's been a while. It's been a while since they've
Right.
toured and obviously written anything, because Neil he wrote all of the lyrics for the band, other than the lyrics on the first album, which they
He died January 7th, 2020.
So 2020, okay, is when he passed. So it's 5 years now.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of mixed feelings. You know, people are like, well, they should get Danny Carey from Tool. He's so good. Or they should get another drummer. And, you know, and then people are like, well, no, how can they replace Neil? That kind of thing. So 2 weeks ago now, it was announced. I watched the thing I stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
It was the day that they announced it.
I sent you one too, right?
You may have. I think you and I were kind of stumbling
At
on
the
it
same
right around
time.
the same time. But Colleen and I watched it actually, and we're like, "Oh, popular phone." Um, we stumbled upon this interview that it was just put on 6 hours ago, so
Right.
it was that day, and they announced that they're going on tour, and we're like, I had mixed feelings at
I
first.
have a huge question.
Well,
That's what I
The
thought.
huge question is,
Who's
who's going to be the drummer?
the video? They spent like 5 minutes telling you all about the tour and why they decided to do it, and it's like you're sitting there the whole time going, and
Yeah. So, Colleen, if you want to share that screenshot down below there. Nope, down below. They found this woman named Annika Niles. She's a German drummer. Geddy Lee, the bass player, his bass tech, seen this woman. She was playing with Jeff Beck.
right.
And he saw her, and I guess he was like, "Who's this girl? Oh my God, she's awesome!" And did some research, and then told Getty about her, and that is kind of what led them to seeing this person and ultimately picking her to go on tour with them. So what they did is they announced selected dates. I think it was 5 cities.
Yes.
It started with 5 cities, and some of them they were going to be multiple shows. They're going to be the first show was in California, and they picked that because that's where their last show was with Neil. So the last tour ended in I don't know if it's in LA or where it is, but somewhere in California, and they thought it would be fitting to start the tour where their last tour ended. So I'll give you a little information on this girl. Well, before I go to that, I'm like a lot of us, who's Annika Niles? I had never heard of her. First thing I did was search YouTube, and then I watched her.
Hit her up on Drumeo.
I can see why they picked her. So Annika Niles, she was born in '83, so she's younger. She's in her 40s. She's a German drummer, composer, musical educator. She launched her career on YouTube during the early 2010s and has released 3 full-length albums, all with backing band. Her backing band is called Neville. And then on October 6th, she announced that she was going to be the drummer touring with Rush for 26. And now they've just actually, I think they've announced
17.
Is that
additional
17 cities?
So I had feeling like, I feel like when I watch the videos, this is something Geddy's wanted to do all the time, all along. Geddy wants to keep playing and keep touring and keep doing. And I think when they finished the last tour and Neil passed away, Alex needed a little bit more time. And Geddy was out doing book tours.
Yeah, he wrote a book.
And then when they did I
think they both did some solo work.
No, they did the benefit for the drummer from the Foo Fighters that died. When he passed away,
Taylor Hawkins.
When Taylor Hawkins passed away, Alex and Geddy went to that, and they played 3 Rush songs. One with Chad Smith on the drums.
Yeah.
One with Foo Fighter guy was Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl. Yeah.
And then Danny Carey.
Yeah.
And it's have you seen that? That's just
I have. Oh yeah.
Ridiculous how good it is, and especially Danny Carey. Oh, Chad Smith. They all do a great job. But I think after they did that, I think Geddy had the itch. And he said that a couple of years ago, him and Alex just started jamming together on their own, and they weren't doing Rush stuff. But then they started doing Rush stuff, and then it just evolved into this.
So
I'm excited.
Here's this woman. Colleen just put up a picture of her. The first one is the Rolling Stones article about her and who Rush picked. And
Oh, I,
Hey, it's a snare drum.
the other picture, there it is. There's the picture over there. So yeah, and her kit is not very big. I mean, it's good
I've
size,
seen
but
different videos, like some of the fusion stuff she plays.
we're gonna play a video. You want to see a video?
She's big on, sure, she's big on cymbal use too.
So let's go ahead and Colleen, if you want, go ahead and play that video. So yeah, that one right there. So you'll have to click off that
I
overlay,
cannot wait to hear her play.
click on
her
that,
tune.
and then you'll go up to the tab, the YouTube tab, and then you can hit the play button there, and it
Thank
should
you.
go. That was your little.
Yeah, I've heard this one.
So this is, I think a song. I think we picked a song that's from one of her albums. So she's like a jazz fusion player, very progressive.
Yes, I think that she'll fit in because of her sensibilities and fusion.
Well, and you can see just by
She's
listening to her, you can see why they picked her.
active.
Unbelievable drummer. Unbelievable drummer.
And it's very flush. It's not so somebody who'd be obvious, like a Mike Portnoy or Travis Barker, or one of these drum superstars. Oh, Rush going on tour with this guy. No, instead, they do it very Rush-like. And
Yeah.
we're going on tour, and we have a surprise for you.
Well, and Mrs. Producer, before we went live, she brought up, she said, do you think that they picked a female drummer just for that very reason? For that, not so much shock value, but like you said.
I don't think that's the reason.
No,
I think it's the recommendation he got. He listened and he approved.
yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with her gender.
So there is the one thing that I like about social media and YouTube is it's opened my eyes to the amount of female guitar players out there that are really, really good. Female bass players, oh my goodness, there are some absolute kick butt bass players out there, and drummers. And we grew up, and I used to say to people all the time, I don't like chick bands.
Why not?
Bands with all chicks, the Go-Go's and the Bananaramas and the I don't like chick bands. I like Heart. Heart's not a chick band. They're a rock band.
Yeah.
With you just happen to be led by two women, but they're not a chick band.
Who was
well,
Lita Ford's another one I can think of. She played with
the Runaways,
Joan Jett and the Runaways, and just an awesome guitar player, but a good songwriter and a good artist. Right. I mean, she did a duet with Ozzy, and
that made her.
Who's the other band there? I can think of. I can kind of hear their song. It's something about a broken heart. They were a hair band in the 80s.
Heart.
No, not Heart.
And they had girl lead singer.
Great band.
Say again?
They were all girls?
All girls, yeah. And they're...
Yeah, I can't...
But,
Bangles?
no, not the Bangles. Not a pop band. These are a rock band. They were like a hair band. Writing
yeah,
what I would call hard rock. They were calling it metal back then, but it's not metal. But I think they're touring right now. They're all older.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. They're just really good. So gender has nothing to do with it, man. If you're a good musician, you're a good musician. And Annika Niles. So one of the reasons we brought this up is because your brother, my little brother from another mother, he sent you and I a text that he's trying to get tickets to go to the Boston show of Rush.
In September, on the 12th.
Yeah, 26th September.
Oh, 26th or 12th?
Yeah, because September's already gone. It's October.
Oh, no, but September 12th of 26.
Of 26, yeah.
We're going to be at the Boston Garden.
We'll see. We haven't got tickets yet. I guess he's got the pre-sale for Friday.
He did
And
put
who
a
knows,
video out.
we may be going to see Annika Niles live.
He did say, he put out a video just the other day saying, please buy your tickets from Ticketmaster or from the Rush website. And I
Right.
think Rich registered for early
He-
purchase on the
he
Rush
did.
website.
I believe he did.
So, because they're already anticipating there's going to be, Taylor Swift type ticket issues. with
Well,
it.
and they're already saying that. People have been bitching online. If you go to the, there's the picture. That's kind of, they kind of put her in there with them. They're not actually, they weren't photographed actually together, but that picture was him and Getty, I think, when they announced her as the, I keep refraining from saying the new drummer or
Right.
the replacement drummer. I want to just see how it goes. They're going to tour. They're going to dedicate this tour to Neil. But I'm curious, and I would like to hear. Again, writing without Neil is going to be interesting because he was the wordsmith for the band, man. And I don't know. They haven't said they're going to write songs with her or anything, but I guarantee they both have probably at least 2 or 3 albums worth of material that they've written since Neil has passed. So it'll be interesting to see.
We'll have to see
what happens.
I'm excited. I can't wait to hear her playing a Rush tune, hear what it sounds like. The only thing that I have to say is I would feel a little bit better if they called it something else, like R50 even, or something like that. I think I would be more comfortable if I was a member of the band to call it something else and protect Neil's legacy a little bit that way.
I disagree.
Not offended. I'm not offended by it. It's just a little thing I'm thinking, maybe I would have called it something else.
So before they even did this, and they said in their interview that they did the announcement that they had spoken prior to Neil's wife and his daughter,
Right.
both, and they both gave
their
them the
blessing.
blessing.
I heard that, yes.
So I think to call it anything different, because they are going out, and this is like a tribute, I guess, for a better word.
Right.
This is they're going out there and they're doing the tour, and it's going to be a tribute to Neil is what it is. I know that the songs they said, I saw a set list yesterday, but I don't know if it's true. The internet's full of all kinds of wacky shit, and people put stuff out and claim it to be real. I don't know, but they said that their set list is going to be all songs that is a testament to Neil. Which I think is a great thing. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be really cool if we find out Friday night that your brother lets us know if we're actually going to go see them. Either way, we're going to get to see them because there'll be a movie or there'll be videos of it. This is a big deal for them and a big deal for the fans and the music world. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited to see. Like you were mentioning, I'm curious, are they going to do something at the beginning of the show and say this whole show is dedicated to Neil? Are they going to do certain songs? Are they going to have a moment during the show? So I'm curious to see how that all works out. Also, as I mentioned before, and you said you didn't see it on the set list that you saw, I'd be really curious personally to know if they're going to play the Garden in the Boston.
Not Madison Square Garden or the Boston Garden, but there's a song called The Garden. Yeah.
And I would love if they did that song. I will not be disappointed if they don't. But again, it's curious.
You'd have to listen to the words
he wrote on the last
of The
album.
Garden, but
And that when I listen to that song, I feel like he already knew.
he knew.
He already knew that he was sick and he was going to leave the world. And he wrote that song. That's the way I see it. Now, that's not exactly what they say, but
no,
they say he got the brain cancer after. But I think that that tour ended. That last tour ended, and it was just ended.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's possible he was already sick.
He was already sick.
And he wrote that song because
it was like Freddie Mercury.
Read the lyrics.
Their last album, he knew he was dying. And listen to some of them
The
songs.
show must go
Get
on.
the box of Kleenexes out, and I have a
Yeah.
feeling that you better bring a pocket full of Kleenex if you go to the show, because they'll be,
If you are a Rush fan,
yeah, there'll be back stuff on
if you are a Rush
behind
fan,
them that you're gonna
be ready.
visuals.
Be ready for an emotional
Yeah.
thing. I'm telling you, it's it's the same thing. The feelings that we have about Rush and Neil Peart and everything, because we've been listening to them since we were teenagers. And the other day when I heard that Ace Frehley died, I went immediately back to, I saw them on Wolfman Jack's Midnight Special in 1975. So I'm like, all right, where's my phone? Let me find Wolfman Jack. I found the exact show and watched it again. And it brought me right back to that moment and then how wonderful and awesome it was.
Yeah, 1975, you were 11.
I wasn't even 11. I was almost 11.
Yeah, because your
My
birthday's
birthday's in
December.
December.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool show. I watched it again. I was like, man, that's awesome. And so it's like, I'm grateful for Kiss. And I'm grateful for all those bands that I saw when I was young, was 8, 9, and 10 years old, and I was listening to stuff.
Well, we grew up in a good time in the 70s and the early 80s.
And the bands that did it the real way.
There's no bands today like that. There's really not.
And Kiss couldn't get on YouTube and put videos out back then.
Yeah.
They had to play show after show after show after show after show. And like a lot of bands, many bands, they put out back in the 70s when we were kids, they put out 3, maybe 4 albums before anybody starts listening to them.
Right.
And which was cool about that was we'd hear a song we liked on the radio. Oh, this band's cool. Find out, hey, they got 5 albums.
Right.
And you go out to get all this new music.
Then you buy all the albums.
Yeah.
You listen to the back catalog that you'd never heard. Oh,
Speaking of,
I made cookies. Want a cookie?
why don't mind if I don't mind
Mrs.
if I do.
Producer, would you like a cookie?
Thank you.
I made chocolate chip made with Hershey's special dark chocolate cocoa.
So good.
We've been drinking tea and eating cookies, but I'm sure people will probably like, what does he got on that plate there? They're cookies. Good cookies.
And now I'm chewing.
All right, Mr. Producer, it's time for top 10. Okay, as I chew this cookie up,
Speaking of albums,
it's top 10. Top 10 is when we list our buddy Bob and I, what we think is our top 10 favorite dinners or top 10 favorite movies, whatever it is. Today, buddy Bob wanted to do top 10 must-have or favorite albums to have. Now, there's so many albums and so many bands. Again, we could list 200 albums that I think you should have in your catalog, but these are 10 that, and we don't know what each other picked. So again, it's subjective, and we may have repeats, we may not. So if you want to start off, Henry.
so you can look at it this way. This is how I look at it. If somebody came to you, Jimmy, and said, Jimmy, I'm interested in listening to Led Zeppelin, but I've never heard it before. Which album should I listen to first?
Do you want me to answer that question right now?
Go right ahead.
All right. Well, you mentioned Led Zeppelin, so if I had to own one Led Zeppelin album, it'd be Led Zeppelin 4. That's the one with the guy with the Zoso. He's got the bag of sticks on his back. Just because that's got like a lot of the hits that a lot of the hits on it, like isn't Stairway to Heaven on that? And,
Black Dog before
yeah.
Six.
That's the Zeppelin album. I would think that if I had to say the Zeppelin album, I would say buy them all because they're just freaking awesome. But on my top 10 list, that's one of them is Zeppelin 4.
That's a really good one. And we'll stay with the theme. I picked A Song Remains the Fame.
I knew you were
The
gonna
live album.
Yeah.
Um, It's just like,
But there's just so many.
it's got all the hits on it. So all the stuff on, not all the stuff, but Stairway to Heaven is on it, and Black Dog from Zeppelin 4. But the stuff on Zeppelin 1 and 2 is there, and that live version of Since I've Been Loving You. I don't know.
Mhm.
Just takes me somewhere when I
Does
hear it.
anybody remember Laughter?
So yeah, so that's just a great album.
Right.
So back to you now.
All right. Well, we're talking about Rush. My favorite Rush album of all time, and the very first Rush album I ever heard was A Farewell to Kings. And for any Rush fan, if you don't have this album in, and they got many albums, if you don't have A Farewell to Kings in your album repertoire, you need to go out today and you need to buy it. It's got Cinderella Man on it. It's got Closer to the Heart. Xanadu. Good Lord, Xanadu.
Madrigal.
It has A Farewell to Kings on it. The whole album is just really good.
Cygnus X1.
Yeah. It's just one that needs to be on your list.
And that's the same Rush album I have listed here, Farewell to Kings.
Like I said, we're probably gonna have some repeats on here.
Well, it's both of our favorite Rush album. All right, I'm gonna switch up the get away from the rock and roll bit. One of my very favorite albums. These are all albums that I owned too.
Mm-hmm.
Carole King Tapestry.
Oh wow, yeah,
It's like a greatest hits record.
yeah.
And it shows off what a great songwriter she was. You know, I Feel the Earth Move and Locomotion, all those songs that you know. But she was just a remarkable songwriter.
Incredibly, and an artist too. I mean,
And
she was a songwriter. I think that's really all she wanted to be in the beginning.
And it's
Friends with James Taylor
Right.
and a few other people.
She used to write songs with Neil Sedaka and other people
Yeah.
like that. But that's been still to this day is one of the top selling albums every year since the year it came out.
Carole King.
People
So good.
are still digging that and still discovering it, which is great.
Not to be confused with Carol Kay.
No, who's still alive? She's 90.
She's a bass player.
Yeah.
She played with the Wrecking
She's also a
Crew.
manager.
Yeah, fantastic musician. All right, number 3 on my list, and again, they're not in any particular order. They're just you have to put them down. So this is the 3rd one on my list. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Again,
Well, I think that's universally.
Yeah.
considered.
Again, what can I say?
Get yourself a nice beer or a glass of wine if that's what you like. Make sure your room is quiet and listen to Breathe.
Well, I would say put a pair of headphones on.
Yeah, and listen to Breathe.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the album.
Yeah.
The rest of Time.
Right.
Just the money. The whole album is good, but Breathe is just a special song.
It's such a special song. It's a special album, really.
Yeah, and you could say, I mean, if somebody said The Wall is a must-own album, I can't really argue with them. That's an experience as well. But having to pick between The Wall and Dark Side of the Moon, I'll take Dark Side every day.
Yeah, me too.
Because when that came out, there was nothing like that. There was nothing.
No,
on
they
this
were
earth that
definitely
was like
innovators. Nobody was
like,
writing music like that. These guys, honestly, since the Beatles, there were nobody that were working in the studio and just doing stuff like playing,
the noise
classes and
right.
just stuff.
and cuts from movies. And,
If there was a band today, if I had to pick a band today that does stuff like that, it would be Tool.
yeah.
They're just, hey, that's a guitar stand over there. What's it sound like if I bang on it?
And they're off center like Pink Floyd.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a good comparison.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
All right. Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, kidding me?
Again, it's a double album.
A big album.
And every song on there is just about a hit.
It's
Candle in the Wind was the biggest.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Yeah. Gray Seal is one of my
Yeah.
favorites on there.
Yeah.
Well put together album, well produced. I remember it was a neat double fold. It had cool artwork on it.
Yeah. He's on the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
He's walking down the Yellow Brick
Yeah.
Road.
And
And when you talk about Elton John, you have to give Bernie Taupin
Who
a
wrote that?
yeah. He wrote all the lyrics.
Yeah.
Elton wrote the music, and you know, I know Elton gets most of the accolades because it's his name on it. 'Cause
And he
he's
sings
singing
it great.
Yeah. But Bernie's
But-
incredible.
And Elton's
Songwriter.
always given Bernie his props.
Yeah.
And you always
Without
get-
Bernie, I don't think we'd have Elton John as the artist he
No.
is today.
No,
So,
because he couldn't write lyrics.
yeah. Well, he tried. Did you ever see the movie?
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't very good at it.
No.
Great album though, Buddy
But,
Bob.
but
That's
yeah,
a good
if
one.
you like Elton John, you probably already own that one. But
Yeah.
if you don't, please go do yourself a favor.
How about okay, my turn.
Your turn.
So how about the Rolling Stones Exile on Main Street?
Oh. Now I have that, and I have the extra edition that's got a whole extra CD
Yeah.
and stuff on it. That's like their country music. That's just
It's
such
got
a
everything on.
cool, such a cool era for the Rolling Stones.
Right.
I struggle. That is my favorite Rolling Stones album.
Mine too.
A close second to Some Girls. But
Oh, I remember that was 81, I think. Some Girls.
Beast of Burden and Shattered and those are
Puerto Rican girl just wanna die to meet you.
Yeah,
Such a
Some
great
Girls,
album.
man.
I got to see the Stones. I'm very lucky. I was the Stones when they I was going to say when they were all intact before Charlie died, and
The bass player left.
yeah,
Yep.
original bass player drowned, but
No. He was no.
Oh, he was a guitar player.
Yeah, it'll come to me because he was the old guy in the band, the bass player.
Yeah, he married like a really young girl and
Well,
all that. But what the hell?
He was their guardian since she was
Why-
12.
Why can't I think of his name? But yeah, that's a whole
Wyman, Bill
Yeah,
Wyman.
Bill Wyman. But I got to see them all intact before he left and before Charlie died. That was the Steel Wheelchair tour.
Steel Witch.
I got to see them. But Exile on Main Street, yeah, one of the if you're gonna own a Rolling Stones album, put that in your repertoire. That's
Yes.
one to put in there.
Absolutely. If you are going to own a Billy Joel album, I would recommend The Stranger.
Yeah,
Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
yeah.
Moving Out. Vienna's on
Vienna's
that.
on
Just
that.
the Way You Are. Always a Woman. The song The Stranger. Only the Good Die Young.
Yeah,
I mean,
every song's
that's
it.
like a greatest hits album, but it was his breakout album. There's really a pair that I love. It's The Stranger and 52nd Street. But The Stranger is just, and he hadn't made an album in like 3 years or something. He took a long time off before he did The Stranger, and it shows. It's the album's just a
He
matter.
sat down and just took a little bit more time to work on it without trying to write a hit and satisfy the record company.
Which was hard in the
And-
70s because the record
And he
company,
pumped out every song on that
Yeah.
was pretty much a hit.
there's so many stories.
Vienna's one of my favorite Billy
Yeah.
Joel songs ever.
Yeah, and that wasn't like one of the hits off the album.
No,
But it's a great song.
yeah,
And something about Only the Good Die Young, something about the tempo of that song that it's such a cool,
come out,
Cool song.
Virginia, don't let me wait.
right?
Catholic girls not much too late. So good. Can you tell that we like music?
There you go, Billy Joel, The Stranger.
All right, the next one on my list is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. How can you not? Again, another album where every song on it's a hit.
Yeah.
Uh,
And because the band was going through turmoil at that point,
well, because they were all banging each other.
they were all having
How are you
relations.
supposed
with each
to
other.
get along when you got all that happening?
Secondhand News.
Yeah.
The guitar work on that. It's just some insane stuff.
Well, it's forgive me, I can't think of his name, but
Lindsey Buckingham.
Lindsey Buckingham, an incredible guitar player, but an inventive guitar player.
Inventive finger picking.
Yeah, just
guy.
really a genius, in my opinion, when it comes to playing guitar. Very
a
unique.
band of very, very good musicians.
All of them. I mean, Christine McVie playing the piano, and she had been in other bands prior.
Yeah,
In the late '60s as a keyboard player and a singer, and she's one of my favorite singers.
mine too.
I mean, I like Stevie Nicks because her voice is unique, but Christine just had the voice, man, real good.
What Stevie Nicks brought like to that album there, like Rhiannon and Gold Dust Woman.
Yeah,
Those like, you know, and she got that reputation. Like, what is she? Practice witchcraft?
yeah. Who is this gypsy woman?
Right, and she had this like gypsy type aura to her.
And she was pretty good looking back then.
Yeah, no, absolutely not deniable. She was a cutie patootie, but
Cutie patootie. All right, your turn. Next album on your top 10.
Layla and Assorted Love Songs by Derek and the Domino.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, another one is just a tour de force. He gathered up the best musicians he could get.
Dwayne Allman and Eric Clapton and
Dwayne Allman's on that album. We talked about Billy Whitlock
Yeah,
and
Billy
the Whitlock who
Whitlock.
passed away.
yeah.
What a great album. I mean, Layla, of course, that just
Well, yeah.
takes you
That's
there.
probably the
but it just, and I'm trying to remember all the titles, but it's like the Clapton. If you're going to own one Clapton album, that's the one. If it's
go out and add that to your catalog.
unless you get greatest hits, but you need to hear Derek. Now, one of my favorites on that is he does the Jimi Hendrix tune.
Yeah.
It's a Bob
All along
Dylan
the
tune.
Watchtower.
But his version of it is completely different, and so good. And that's
All along the Watchtower.
no, but Clapton's version
No, I know.
is really different. And
I'm
yeah,
just trying to do Robert Zimmerman. I couldn't do it.
even he can't do it anymore.
Yeah. What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
He must have like, he's got albums that got like 8 different vocal sounds.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
he's just a lunatic.
Well, even in the Wilburys, Traveling Wilburys, he sounded totally different than he did in a lot of.
Right.
And then there's Adrian Belew trying to do him on the Zappa, the Chic Your Booty album.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Would you like some Mendy's, Bob?
Want some Mendy's, Bob? All right, my turn.
Your turn.
How about the White Album by the Beatles?
How about it?
How about the White Album? You know, when I was thinking, you know, everybody is like, "Oh, Abbey Road, it's such the greatest." Yeah, Abbey Road's great. It was their last album, but
There's something.
I
about the
always
White Album.
find myself going back to the White Album. Another double album.
And it's got some cool, like, niche songs, like Rocky Raccoon.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something to hide except for
Yeah.
me and my monkey. Like, there's,
I'm so tired.
dude, that is like one of my favorite Beatles tunes,
Right?
period.
Ever.
Because the lyrics are,
Everybody's got something to hide except for me and my monkey.
I
Crazy. That was them at their best, the White Album.
think so, yeah. Come Together, because that was the same period.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
same period. I might actually lean to Come Together, but you're right on there with the White Album.
Yeah, the White Album, my favorite. And some rumors, Revolver too, you know.
Oh yeah.
Another good one, but White Album's, that's my go-to Beatles.
If you're going to own only one Allman Brothers album, it should be Live at the Fillmore
Live
East.
at the Fillmore East, another live album.
And if you don't know how good Dwayne Allman was, get
Yeah,
Live at the Fillmore East.
listen to him live.
It's the best. I think it's the best slide guitar performance you'll hear. I'm taking nothing away from Derek Trucks, who I consider to be the best slide guitar playing today. And he plays the Dwayne Allman stuff. He played in the Allman Brothers band, but Dwayne Allman, and he still was just a kid when he died.
Yeah. What, 24? I think.
24.
Yeah.
And he still was just a kid. But that album is, and you know what? When I'm out usually in the summer when I'm out working in the yard, I get the headphones on. That's a really good one to
Yeah.
mow the lawn to.
Yeah.
is the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East.
Well, how can you beat it? You can't. You cannot
That's the
beat
one to
it.
have.
All right, next one on my list is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars,
One of my
David
favorites.
Bowie.
One of my favorites.
If you like David Bowie and you don't have that in your catalog, what are you waiting for? Go get it. It's got them all on there. Starman's on there.
Starts with 5 years.
Yep, 5 years,
Man,
Ziggy
that's pretty
Stardust.
good. Starman, not Life on Mars is not on that album. Something to the Moon.
I don't know. It's a good album.
It's. I'm not good with titles sometimes.
I
I
forget.
forget all the titles, but I can tell you
I'm
it's
like
the
you.
best album.
Yep.
I'm an alligator.
I'm a mama coming for you.
I'm a space invader.
Yeah, we'll sing them all to you.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Get that today.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
next one.
Yes, songs.
Oh. By Yes.
Yeah, yes, songs. Fold out double
Another
album
double
live.
album.
It's live. It's a really good example of progressive of the time of that era. 72, 73. They had all the colored psychedelic lights on stage.
In the Round.
Yeah, John Anderson's voice was soft and lilty and didn't seem like a rock and roll voice, but in that music, his voice was perfect.
And Steve Gollum Howe playing the lap steel on Soon.
A bunch of show off
Yeah.
too. Yes, they were all master
Rick
musicians,
Wakeman.
and they're like, let's show off. You know,
Chris Squire's still one of my, as a bass player, he was one of my top 3 influencers as a bass player.
if you ask me, other than like a Stanley Clark, other than a guy like that whose bass phrasing was the best, I would say Chris Squire. His phrasing was as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm saying, but if you're a bass player, when I say phrasing, how you express the notes.
Right.
And the bass gives you a little bit more, compared to a guitar, you have a little bit more room on bass to experiment with notes. Because technically, as Victor Wooten could point out, no notes wrong on the bass if you know how to play it.
Right. Or you're only a half step away, and even then it doesn't sound like it's wrong either,
Right.
most of the time.
So
I just do it quick enough.
I think that Chris Squire had a way of expressing
Well, and
the
he
notes that was
wrote
different.
90% of the songs, he wrote them as a bass player. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You know, there's not a lot of players like that. Geddy Lee, Steve Harris from Iron Maiden.
bass players, like with all the time signature changes and stuff, that's challenging
Yeah.
for a bass player.
Yeah.
It's challenging for anybody, but for a bass player, you're playing different things and at different speeds, and it's like that kind of music is technically expansive. I mean, they were very, very technical because, like I said, they were trying to show off.
Right.
Hey, we're not the Beatles. We're not just boom bat boom boom bat. Check out what we can do.
Yeah.
And they weren't the only ones. The Genesises of the world and the
Sure.
King
Well, a lot of
Crimsons,
those prog rock bands.
that's what they were. They were
yeah.
super duper musicians.
Yeah. Well, and you know, there's bands like people may not even heard of, like Gentle Giant,
Right.
and other bands like that. Same kind of thing, you know.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Who's the Benghazi band? Those guys. I can't think of their name right now, but you know who I'm talking about.
Not King Crimson.
No. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Prog rock
Yeah.
bands, and yes, so get yourself a Yes album. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
So, not a competition, but certainly, I think these musicians, or this one songwriter, felt like he had to do better than the Beatles, and he came out with Pet Songs, which was the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson. They had put out Sgt. Pepper, and then he put out Pet Songs. And even Paul McCartney
No, you
went,
got it backwards.
oh,
They
okay.
put up pep songs first.
Even Paul McCartney was like, huh? What?
And the Beatles were like in the business of trying to top things.
Right, exactly. Well, because they had been number one. Everybody told them they're the greatest since sliced bread. And one of their biggest competitors, I mean, you know, the Stones and the Who were out there. They weren't really in the same vein. But Brian Wilson as a songwriter, good Lord.
and an engineer and
Right. He's just the producer, the guy you want. If you know, maybe that's what we'll do is top 10 producers next, because he'd be like number one, if not close to it. But there you go, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. If you're gonna own one Beach Boys album, that's the one to get. in
yes,
my opinion.
John B is on that album. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they're all on it. All
You
the
still
hits.
believe in me? That's not me. Don't.
Um,
Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, that's. I mean, that's. So the Beatles were in the business of topping things. One of the more famous was when the Who came out, and it was Summertime Blues. The music magazine said this is the most hardest rocking band that there is, and the Beatles were like, well, okay, we're going to write this song called Helter Skelter, and so they would write songs in response to other people's
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
So when Paul McCartney heard Pet Sounds, he told John Lennon, and then Paul McCartney said to John Lennon, how are we going to top that?
Right.
So the next album on my list is how they top it.
Sgt. Pepper.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely
Yeah.
Hearts Club Band. I put that on the list because it's a seminal album. It clearly shows a shift in what the Beatles were doing.
Right.
And
And they were taking acid too, which didn't hurt.
they were, but to me, that makes it even more impressive.
Right.
You remember a few
Well, it's
years
like
ago?
Magical Mystery Tour.
You remember about
Yeah.
20 years ago, a kid from Canada won the gold medal in the first time that they had snowboarding in the Olympics, and the kid from Canada won the gold medal. And the next day, they took it away from him because he failed a drug test for marijuana. The day after that, they gave it back to him because marijuana wasn't on the forbidden list.
Right.
But then the commenter said, "Well, geez, if he won the gold medal while he's high, you should give him two."
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's kind of the way I look at it. I mean, it's yeah, the Beatles were experimenting with a lot of drugs, but look at the record they made.
Right.
You know, Pink Floyd was doing that too, and look at the record they made.
Well, and that's it. And that had a lot of the so-called play it backwards stuff on it. And,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, Number 9, Revolution
Yeah.
9, and they were playing into the rumors.
Well, that was Revolution number 9 was on the White Album, wasn't it?
Right. Oh yeah, we're talking about Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah. Anyway, great album.
Yes.
Great album. All right. I got
Ringo's the
two
star.
on my list. Because it's very rare that you and I don't have several matching ones, but we've only had one, I think one matching one in here, right? Which was
A couple.
Dark
Farewell to Kings was matching. Dark Side was
yeah.
matching.
How about A Night at the Opera by Queen?
Yeah.
One of my favorites. The first Queen album I ever owned. Of course, it's got okay, I can't think, but the Rhapsody on there, and it's got
I'm in love with my
With
car.
My Car. It's got
My
My
Best
Best
Friend.
Friend.
I'm in love with my
Just
car.
so
That's
many.
like the best. The
Yeah, and the drummer wrote that one.
Machine of a Dream.
Yeah,
Such a clean machine.
such a clean machine. Yeah, so A Night at the Opera, Bohemian Rhapsody, the big hit. You've seen the movie, you know, their producer, their record company was like, no one's gonna ever listen to an 8-minute song.
The other great song on there is Brian May wrote, Love of My Life.
Oh yeah, I saw him play that live, as did you.
But when I saw him in the Boston Garden, Freddie only sang the first line. Sings Love of My Life, and then he just holds the microphone in the crowd, and the crowd sings the rest of the song.
Well, and it was kind of like that when I seen him too. Brian comes out because they got the jet out or whatever from
Yeah.
the front of the stage, and he gets out there and gets on a stool. He's got his acoustic, and he starts singing, and then forget it.
Have you seen the one
The
that he
crowd just
does?
sings the whole song for him.
You seen the one he does with Freddie's thing on the stage?
Yeah. It's a
They project-
hologram.
They have a hologram of Freddie on the stage singing it.
Yeah.
And he plays it along with that. That's like great.
All right, so I got one more.
I'm out.
All right, I got one more, and it's a repeat band. It's The Wall by Pink Floyd. I had to put it on there.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Like I said, I couldn't argue with somebody that says it's The Wall. I just prefer Dark Side. But The Wall, you want to know something cool about that? That came out at Christmas in 1979.
Yeah.
I
tried to win tickets to go see Pink Floyd
I
on the
got
radio.
for Christmas. I got Billy Joel glass houses for Christmas. My cousin got Pink Floyd The Wall. And I went over their house, and this is like a week after Christmas. I was like, "Oh, you got The Wall? How is it?" He goes, "It's horrible. Stinks.
You want it?
You want it?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I'll trade you for the Billy Joel." I go, "Here you go." I already had taped the Billy Joel. I had it on cassette,
Yeah.
so I didn't care. Plus,
The Wall, another double
So
album.
then I remember I'm with my mom. Mom, can we go home now? Can we go home? I want to go home. I want to go home. Why you want to go? I want to go listen to my new record. I want to go home.
Right?
She's all mad at me. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go
How
listen
could
to
you
it
handle
now.
I
don't know.
I don't want to say I made my parents, but I'm like, we're always watching because I got the movie when the movie came
Oh
out.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm always watching stuff you want to watch. I had it on VHF, and my dad sat through the whole thing with me.
Really?
Yeah. And he never told me what he thought about it. I don't think he was too impressed by it, but what a genius album.
It was a
David
different
Gilmour
thing.
and
The
those
whole
guys
album
were
was
just
an
so
experience.
awesome.
And the movie, Bob Geldof does not get a lot of credit, but
No.
because he wasn't an actor, and that's the only movie he was in. But for that movie, he was perfect.
And the Who Framed Roger Rabbit guy, wasn't he like their manager?
Oh, Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah, I think he wasn't in it for very long, but I think he was in a short piece of it. All right, so we've beat the albums to death. It's we got to get going here soon, but it's time for This or That, Colleen.
Or it's that.
All right, so This or That. This is the portion of the program where we do a This or That. You guys know what This or That. So it was my week to do This or That for Buddy Bob, and Buddy Bob's chewing his cookie. And here we go. Number one: boxers or briefs, Buddy Bob?
Boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs. All right. Yeah, it's not really that fair now because.
But always grew up having briefs.
Yeah, briefs, but boxer briefs. I'm with you on that. So, all right. Number two: being able to fly or being invisible.
Being able to fly.
Being able to fly. I think. I don't know. And being invisible would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
There would be some cool aspects to that. But if there's ever
you can get a lot of dirt.
If you're ever in danger, you can fly away.
You could be a pervert too if you're invisible.
Well, you could hover over people's houses and watch them
fly
around.
You could get to a lot of places. I think flying is probably what I would pick as well. Because like right now, I could just fly.
I'm thinking of the sensation.
Oh, the sensation. I'm thinking of the place you
being up in the air with nothing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. A window or an aisle seat?
Window. But back in the day when you used to be able to drink as much as you want on planes, it was helpful to have the aisle seat.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm with you. I like a window seat.
Now you can't really drink, so I'll take the window.
I like the window seat. All right. Roller coaster or Ferris wheel?
Oh, I like to live dangerously. I'm a roller coaster guy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Ferris wheels, they're fun, but they're slow.
They're great when you're little. Little kids love the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. All right. Camping or a luxury hotel?
Now? No, I would say camping. Camping's more of an intimate experience. Yeah, for an overall experience, especially if it's like with friends or with your loved ones, the camping's a better experience. At my age, though, no, I can't sleep on the ground anymore. So unless I got like what you got, that kind of camping.
Yeah.
But yeah, these days probably luxury hotel.
Yeah. I like the luxury hotel too. The RV is good too, though. So, but that doesn't say RV camping or luxury hotel. It just says luxury hotel.
Or camping.
I'll take that. Camping kind of that it's like having a tent. I think it kind of
Yeah.
sends that.
When we were younger, though, that was cool, right?
Colleen and I used to camp in a pup tent all the time.
Yeah.
So
You got the fire, you got the picnic table, you're doing your food, you know.
Yeah. It's great. Camping's a fun thing. All right, soft or hard taco? Mrs. Producer's over
I'm
there.
gonna go soft, but you gotta put that soft taco shell on the grill first just to heat it up.
Just
for
to
you.
get it a little warm.
But yeah, I'll go the soft.
Yeah, I like the soft one too. The hard one, it just
Fall apart.
yeah, it does. It break your first
Fall
bite,
apart.
the thing's on your plate, and then you got to get a
Then you need a fork.
It's just
It's fall aparty.
soft taco. You know, you can make a burrito out of your taco, basically.
I think that's a gordita.
A gordita. Yes. Okay, so we've been talking about records and albums and that. How about general admission or seats?
General admission.
Yeah, you like general
That's
admission?
awesome chaos.
Yeah, that's. I prefer a seat.
I'm just saying, if you go to see, there's not many general admission shows anymore, but you used to see the best fights at general admission. I remember we were going to see Foghat and Triumph, I think, and we walked into the garden, and there's just huge fight going on in the first 2 or 3 rows. It must have been about 12 or 15 people just going at each other.
Yeah.
And we were like laughing and like, this is the best day ever.
I would always when I would go with my friends and not with like Colleen or something, but at general admission shows, I made it a game to mess with the security guards and get up front.
Yeah.
I always did
The
that.
Don Law's boys.
The Don Law boys, yeah, Don Law production. But I saw Triumph that way. I was right in front of Rick Emmett for the whole show.
Yeah.
Several of them. I think Aerosmith, I got up front. You know, but it was back then I was young and you could squeeze through people and that. But yeah, there's a lot of fighting going on.
So in Virginia Beach, I got right up to the stage of Sammy Hagar. I had my hands on the stage
Yeah.
and everything. But then at some point you got to move.
Oh yeah.
Other groups are trying to get
Yeah.
in. People trying to get in.
Well, you have to fight for your spot.
Again, you know, if I was
I don't mean literally fighting.
if I
but
was 30 or 40 years younger, general admission was fun.
yeah, they're fun. Not when you got a girl with you.
But oh no. And if you got your significant other or whatever with you, you get a seat.
Yeah, seats. And now again, being an old man, I'd rather take a seat.
You can leave your seat.
Okay, Clue or Monopoly?
Oh,
Those are both good games. Monopoly.
Monopoly, yeah. Monopoly's classic, but I like Clue. Monopoly can go forever, man. It could last like days. We played Monopoly.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, don't touch the board. We're gonna go to bed now. Nobody touch the board. I had
Trying to steal the money.
$86 in Park Place, and I like Clue because you know it was like a murder mystery. That's a great game.
I like that there was a guy named Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Mustard and Professor Plum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In the library with the candlestick.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got 2 more. Cook or takeout? So cook your own or order takeout?
Most nights cook.
Cook, yeah. I'm going with cook too.
If you had a bad day at work and just don't feel like doing anything, then I guess takeout. But I prefer the food that I cook.
Well, and that was my point, I think, is that cooking, you make what you like and you can cook it the way you like it.
Right.
And the nice thing about cooking versus baking is you can kind of, you can embellish or ad lib a little bit. Well, it doesn't call for mushrooms, but I'm putting mushrooms.
Right, exactly.
You know, that kind of thing. Baking, you can't really do that because that's
Baking is
more of a
like
science. Yeah, exactly.
And you have to have the right amount of baking powder and soda in there, or it tastes like garbage.
All right, the last one on the list: clown nose or Groucho Marx glasses.
Oh, man.
Clown nose or the
How do you like my
Groucho
clown
glasses.
nose?
No, that was clown horn.
How do you
but
like my clown nose?
You'll have to go back to the interview with Adam Ezra for that reference. The clown
Clown
horn.
horn. How do you like my clown horn? I don't go with clown nose.
I'm going with the Groucho glasses. You can't go wrong because it's got more than just a nose.
It's got the
too.
glass, the mustache, and
I don't want to look like a clown. I'd rather look like Groucho Marx. You know,
I don't mind.
the glasses with the nose and the little mustache. It's the way to go. That was my whole Halloween costume one year. I just wore the glasses. So there you go. All right. Well, that's our show.
It's been a wonderful
you guys
Wednesday.
check us out next week at 11 a.m. for another rounding edition of Practical Nonsense. If you're still with us and you want to go over and support a couple of our friends, go over to either Bone Tired Travelers or over to Linda Tillman Creates. They're doing their bull crafting right now, so head on over them, give them a Practical Nonsense raid. But until next week, I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Buddy Bob.
We'll see you guys later.
On the step.
Why isn't it ending?